Well, good morning. I am so glad to be here for another edition of Business in the Black. And I today have the pleasure of talking to one of the youngest iconic women in Overtown. And her name is Trina, and she's the CEO of Touching Miami with Love. Miss Harris, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that you selected to spend some time with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking, one, not only to you, but just talking about what's happening in community. So
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Well, listen, there's a lot going on, right? I mean, as you know, the role of the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, we consider ourselves to be the go-to organization for economic development within the Black community. And I consider myself to be a real friend of Overtown, right? I mean, I cut my teeth in Overtown. The grandmother of my children was a longtime Goodbread Alley resident. I know, right?
Yeah, back then. Yeah.
I know, but I've watched your growth, and I've watched Touching Miami with Love really become on the scene of nonprofits and helping our children. And I said, man, in today's environment, we don't speak enough about kind of what that means. And so I wanted to have you on so that you can tell us two things. One, who is Trina Harris? And I got another question, but let's start with that one.
Who is Trina Harris? Trina Harris is Overtown, born, bred, raised, native, one that is thrilled about service, thrilled about providing and connecting opportunities, passionate about youth and community.
Yeah.
But then also, I'm really passionate about economic development and creating avenues to create sustainability for the work that we do. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. So where'd you go to junior high or middle school, high school?
I'm going to start from elementary. So I went to Phyllis Wheatley Elementary.
Okay.
Went to Booker T when it was a middle school.
Yeah.
Booker T, Washington Middle School. Yeah. Then I graduated from Miami-Jackson.
Oh, you're a general.
I'm a general.
Yeah.
General for life. Yeah.
Who was your principal when you were there? Was Ron Majors your principal?
Ooh, no, it wasn't Ron. It was Dr. Allen.
Oh, Dr. Allen was your principal?
Yes, Dr. Allen was my principal. I played basketball in high school.
I didn't know that.
Love sports. Yeah. I'm definitely a sports lover.
Shooting guard?
All Miami teams. Shooting guard, point guard.
Really?
Yeah, basketball nickname, Master P on the court.
Really?
Oh, yes.
See,
yes.
I didn't know that. Well, see, that's that competitive nature, though.
Competitive.
I think athletics really does teach you drive and also gives you discipline.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the power of sports is a life changer. That
really
grit
is.
that it provides, that competitive edge.
That's right.
So,
Good.
Yeah, I went to Miami-Dade when it was a community college here. One of the best experiences that I've had. Did my undergrad and my grad degrees online. Master's from University of West Florida.
Okay.
So, nonprofit management, public service.
Good.
So,
Good for you.
Always lived here in Miami.
Okay.
Proud Miami native.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it's funny. I came here, following a job, and my wife, who, by the way, her family was Bahamian, and is Bahamian, and Cat Island folk, right?
Cat Island.
And so they, we lived in Brown Sub when I first got here, and everything we did was in Overtown. And then, of course, I got connected, with the Overtown Youth Center, and spent a lot of time doing that. And over the years, I've become concerned about Overtown. I see the growth, but it's like the rest of America. The thing that you can't move is the judicial system and the hospital system, right? So they're downtown.
Correct.
And so when you have folk that are coming back into downtown, I get it. They want to be closer to where they live, work, and play.
Correct.
But yet and still you have the indigenous, on Towner for Life, right? And you have that community. So how has this been for you, not just as Trina Harris, CEO of Touching Miami with Love, but as a Towner for Life, to watch this happen?
So as a Towner, it's hard. It's one of those where I see two sides of the coin, right? On one side, I have folks that I've went to school with, grew up with, family, elderly individuals in the community
Mhm.
that they're being displaced.
Yeah.
I mean, that word affordable housing isn't really affordable in a lot of situations.
Oh, you're talking about language.
That
Yeah.
true affordable housing for folks who that are on fixed incomes
Mhm.
that can't afford those rent increases,
Yeah.
they can't survive.
Yeah.
So seeing that so many of the true indigenous Overtown residents have had to move out,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it's one of those things where the rates that folks are getting paid are not catching up to what the rents that they're expected to pay.
That's true.
Even though that we have certain governmental programs
Mhm.
or subsidized housing opportunities for some
Mhm.
folks, but it doesn't still meet the bill. Sometimes those opportunities are only for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So if it's 5 years, so what happens after 5 years when the rents balloon?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that from a long-term perspective, when you take a look at where Overtown is heading, whether we want it to be going there or not,
Correct.
right? The question is, it's not about giving up. It's about a peaceful coexistence.
Yeah.
Making sure that the soul of Overtown is not lost, but that the economic decisions can benefit the continual resident. Because, like I tell folks, I say, there are homeowners in Overtown.
Correct.
Right.
Mhm.
There are condo owners in Overtown. And so with that mix coming up, how has that been for the services that touch Miami with love that you guys provide? How's that been?
I'll tell you for right now, literally a conversation I had yesterday with one of the homeowners that live in Overtown, just blocks away from our location. She's behind on her taxes. She felt direly ill and couldn't afford to pay them. And what someone did, put a lien on her property because she fell behind for a couple years.
Yeah.
Having someone that property has been passed down from generation to generation, she can't afford it. So as far as for services for Touching Mind with Love, we have to step in. How do we allow our neighboring community residents who've not only allowed their kids to go through our program, who's graduated from our program? Her son is in college right now, graduated from our program up in Alabama state right now. And he's thinking about his mom back home, making sure she has a place to stay.
Okay, so now this is interesting because now you need to tell me at the core of not just who Trina Harris is, but what does Touching Miami Love? What is your mission and what do you do?
So our mission is to share the love of Christ by providing hope, opportunities, and resources. And we do that in a variety of ways. So sometimes folks just see us as an after-school program.
Yeah.
And we are so much bigger than that. We serve, yes, about 400 children and youth in after school, year-round after school and summer camp programming. However, we have a system-involved youth program where we're working with young people between the ages of 14 all the way up to 24 who have either been disconnected, dropped out of school, have just left the criminal justice system to provide an paid internship opportunity to help them get back on track.
Really?
That's one of our programs that are active right now. We were grateful to receive some funding from the Children's Trust and other partners to support this program. Also just got some dollars from the United Way to expand this program down in our Homestead location.
Yeah, I heard that you're doing stuff in Homestead, right?
Correct. So we have 3 locations. We have 2 locations in Overtown where we operate out, and we have a location down in West Homestead. So we provide adult services as well. So we offer notaries, fax, helping folks to apply for their benefits. We fill the gaps for folks who may be short on their electric bill, or like the woman I was just speaking about, she was short on her tax deed.
And you provide assistance for that?
We're providing assistance for that. So we reach out to our donors and supporters, let them know, hey, this is the situation. And we have folks that want to support. We definitely need more folks to support these efforts, but it's a true need. If we're community-based and if we're meeting a need, this is an actual need of having someone to lose an investment that they've been investing in their livelihood, their home. How can we just stay in that bubble of what we're doing while we're seeing our folks getting displaced? So that's just one.
I'm blown away. I didn't
That's
know
just
that.
one component. But one of the biggest things over the past 4 years, 5 years, when we do surveys of our families, the biggest need that they come back with is affordable housing.
Right.
Touching Mine with Love, in our homestead property, we're going to be embarking on 100 units of affordable housing on our property.
Look at that.
Now, I'm talking about real affordable, that 30 to 80% AMI affordable. That's what we're talking about doing on our homestead property. So we've already received site approval for the city of Homestead. We're hoping to close we have 2 pending dates, either the first or second quarter of 2026. We're supposed to close in December, but however, with the Trump cuts, we got we lost some dollars from the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Act.
Yeah.
So
I did not know you guys were in that game.
We are in that game, and we're excited about it, because at the end of the day, we can't do what we do regarding having our people who we serve a part of what we do, in close proximity of what we do.
Right.
So it's important. As a leader, I have to make sure I fill those gaps.
See, this is so serendipitous. I mean, you know that a part of what we do is this affordable housing piece, right? Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, we provide down payment assistance for folk that are in that area.
Okay.
I mean, and for those that are, like you said before, that are within 30 to 80% AMI, we have funds for that.
It's amazing.
We have development dollars as well to help you to build.
We have a gap, so we need your help. We need some support.
That is awesome.
Some support.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
See, this is why we get together and talk, so we can learn more about what you're doing. All right, so now, it's funny because sometimes I leave my office downtown and I try to sneak over to 7th Avenue. I drive right by Touch Mine with Love. And it's funny because when I get close to where you're at, I always slow down, not to see if the kids run across the street, but to look. And there's always somebody playing basketball too outside, which is neat. But tell me about how the beginning of Touch Mine. How did that organization that you're the chief executive officer of, how did that come about?
So Touching Mine with Love, we're celebrating our 30th year anniversary this year.
30 years.
30 years.
Wow.
Right? 30 years. And I've had the pleasure to be with the organization for the past 16 years.
Okay.
I've been the CEO going on, next month will be 4 years. So I've grown, been promoted through almost every position in the organization.
Okay, so tell me about that. Stop for a minute and tell me where you started.
So I started out as a children's coordinator. I met the previous executive director and his wife. They were neighbors of mine in the community of Overtown.
Yeah.
So 2 white folks that came in as missionaries wanting to do great work in the community, which we are great friends to this day.
That's so good.
Our kids grew up together. We are still great friends. And they gave me the opportunity. I was in search of finding a place where I can work with children, but also be able to share my faith as well.
Okay.
And Touching Mine with Love provides both of those opportunities. Okay. So I interviewed for the position, got it. Over the course of my years there, I was promoted from children's coordinator to children's youth, family coordinator, senior program director, site director, vice president.
So you've done every job?
Every job in the organization.
That is so cool.
If you put a wrench in my hand, I can probably fix some things on our bus as well.
How about that? That's neat. So as a chief executive officer now of Touching Mine with Love, how do you spend your time?
So right now I spend my time with making sure we have 52 employees. So one, I have to make sure that our budget is where it needs to be.
I tell somebody, you're not in the game if you can't figure out how to make payroll.
Exactly.
That's the key, man.
So that is number one, making sure that our fiscal health is sound.
There you go.
Making sure that we don't have any issues fiscally. So that's making sure that I'm fundraising, I'm grant writing, or making sure we have a team that provides grants, building relationships with individuals in the community to support what we're doing, sharing our story.
Gotcha.
And then making sure that we're building a culture and environment where families and parents, they feel safe with having their kids come. Because at the end of the day, our staff and our kids, they're our assets. We don't exist. We don't have the growth without having individuals that trust what we do and have a proven track record of what we do.
I can feel the passion. I mean, you love what you do.
I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I do. I mean,
Yeah.
I left my full-time job in healthcare. So
Yeah.
I was on a healthcare path
Okay.
before coming
Okay.
into the nonprofit realm.
Okay. Cool.
So
So we talked earlier about about board recruitment. What else keeps you up at night?
ooh. Mm. When you have 54 employees,
Yeah.
and then you hear some of the stories
Mhm.
that some of those folks are going through, and then hearing the stories of what some of the challenges that our families are facing,
Mhm.
and making sure that TML is still in existence for another 30 years,
Mhm.
and making sure the structure, the impact is there, and making sure to reduce our liability. When you have
that's a big deal.
5 vehicles on the street transporting kids every day,
Yeah.
when you own 2 facilities that require maintenance and maintaining while insurance prices are continuing to rise,
That is such a hard thing, isn't it?
we have real
That's the
costs.
unknown. Yeah.
So it's making sure that we're able to do what we do. All of those things are things that circle in my brain. I'm making sure I'm checking off the boxes, following up on things, being diligent on everything that goes on with running a nonprofit. I mean, folks think that running a nonprofit, like everybody wants to open a nonprofit or start a nonprofit, but when you're in the trenches of nonprofit and you have staff members that you want to make sure that payroll is met,
There you go.
that the services are being provided with fidelity, that your staff and your team, the culture of the organization is prominent and it's impactful, and you're actually meeting the actual needs of what the community have. All of those things are important. You can't just do it just to do it.
You really can't. Some years ago, when we have a grant that we put out every year, and it's for economic development, and it was only for for-profit businesses. And I said, the single largest employer of Black folk in Miami-Dade County outside the municipal areas are nonprofits. I said the largest employers of Black folk in the urban core are nonprofits. Think about this. What organizations in Overtown are larger than yours in regards to an employment perspective? There's only maybe 1 or 2. And by the way, they're nonprofits.
They're nonprofits.
And I told folk, I said, so when you think about what drives our community, it's the nonprofit environment.
Correct.
I remember when Jessica, the James E. Scott Community Association was when I was a member of the board for a very short period of time. And I will never forget one day, and by the way, at the time, I was a director for a very, very world-renowned large telecommunications company. And when they told me how many employees they had, I said, wait, what? I had no idea how large this nonprofit was. And I began to understand, and I told my folk that when I became the CEO of a nonprofit myself, I said, I'm the only person in the room that needs to worry about our tax status. The rest of y'all need to figure out how to make money. And then let me figure out how to make sure that morally and ethically that it's in the right bucket. But at the end of the day, your job, Trina Harris, sounds like creating entrepreneurial enterprises so that you could have enough money to make sure, like you said before, that Touching Miami with Love is here 30 years after you're gone.
Correct.
That's enough to keep you up at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When you're at the HIM, you learn about sustainability. You learn about the long haul. You're vision casting. You're trying to figure out what's next. You're trying to make sure you're prepared for, 2030 is around the corner.
Yeah, wow.
Like what are we preparing for?
Yeah.
What's going to be different?
There you go.
You see what AI is taking over certain jobs or things. It's enhancing a lot as well. How are we being prepared?
That's right.
How are we upskilling the participants that we serve?
Yeah.
All of those things are things that circle. Because we can't just do the standard, the status quo.
No, you can't, which means you got to always be learning.
Always.
Which is hard too, because you're running the business and you got to figure out how you take time out for Trina to have the kind of growth that she needs so that her business, can benefit from it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so 3 locations. You said 2 in Overtown, and where are they at?
Yeah, so we have a location on 7th Street and 6th Avenue.
Yep.
That's our oldest location that we have in the community, our staple. And then we have a satellite location where we operate out of the historic Dorsey Library in partnership with the Florida Film House.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yes.
good.
So our
good.
middle and high school students operate out of that location.
Yeah.
And then because we're expanding, we're also going to be hopefully partnering with the city of Miami Parks to also provide some services at Williams Park as well.
Oh, good.
So
Good. So how's that been? I mean, when you know you have to prepare for expansion, how does that tax you and your team?
I mean, it does. It attacks in every way. When you're adding on another staff member, when you're thinking about one more liability because you're having to insure additional
You said that word
sites.
2 or 3 times, so you
it's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's when you are preparing for either supplies, program supplies, when you're serving kids and seeing what the needs are, when you're having staffing to make sure that they're qualified to be a part of what we do. I mean, right now, finding staff to work in nonprofit sometimes is not easy for key positions.
Sure.
Because it's one nonprofit. Sometimes we have a fixed budget or we have fixed funds from either our funders. So increasing those positions sometimes are challenging.
Right.
But we have to figure it out in order to make sure we have the proper staff team to cover.
You know, that's the thing that makes me nervous too, because I think that one of the tragedies of nonprofits that are traditionally underfunded is we end up trying to put a square peg into a round hole, which means that you have a person that has a particular skill set, but yet you've got them doing something else.
Correct.
Because your money only goes so far.
Correct.
Right? So, you know, let's talk about this thing called strategic planning, right? Because so many times nonprofits are known for taking these real sophisticated plans. They pay somebody for 1, 3, and 5 year, and then it collects dust on a shelf.
Yeah.
How do you activate your strategic plan? And are you proud of kind of where you've been, where you're at, and do you really know where you're going, or what's your goal to get there?
So for me, I'm excited to have a supportive board. Our board did a board retreat last year to talk through kind of our plan. And I'm a leader and our board is leader. We don't like big lofty things that don't make sense. We want things that are poignant, that's going to get us in a direction that we're going. So one of the things 4 years ago, the affordable housing project, utilizing our land as an asset, that was one of our things on our strategic plan. How do we bring this to life? Seeing it come to fruition and seeing the steps, that's how we continue
That's a lot to learn,
build on our strategic plan. So we do have a plan to have a new facility in Overtown at some point. So that's a part of our plan. We will have a $2 million campaign for a build out of a new space in Overtown that we are having some conversations currently with the elected officials. So we know what that'll take. That's a part of kind of our planning and vision casting. We know that sustainability is a real thing. So looking at, okay, how does our business model look like for our organization? How does the economic development from our housing developments and future housing developments benefit the work that we're doing in our organization to create some sustainability?
Right on.
So that is all a part of our strategic plan. Because without dollars, we can't do this work.
Yeah, you can't.
And without a plan, we can't do this work. So we can't be sitting around twiddling our thumbs. We have to be actively working towards it. So for me, I don't like to just create a plan that goes and sits on a desk. I like it to be a working, active plan that is touched on. Every 3 months, we're figuring out, okay, what progress have we done to get to where we need to go?
You know, you and I'm going to ask you now. I'm going to want you to come back, and let me tell you why. You as an organization seem to understand the value of independence, about creating a revenue stream through your affordable housing piece that can help to sustain your organization from a long-term perspective. Very few Black nonprofit organizations do that. I mean, very few. You've got to find a way to have what you have to be the gift that keeps on giving.
Correct.
Right? Right? So 100 home sites is aggressive. So how did you get there?
Partnership, learning, forever learning, trainings, and just being in position. I mean, when you have a proven track record, our organization has a proven track record of what we've been doing. We've been that kind of that little engine that folks don't know too much about, but we've been grinding ever since. We don't put out too much, but we're in the trenches of what we do. And sometimes a lot of folks put out a lot of things and they invest a lot of time. I look at the ROI on that. And my ROI on what I'm doing has been definitely beneficial in a way that I've been going. So it's one of those things that, yes, I want more folks to know what we're doing at Touching Mind with Love so they can get involved, because we do need the rate that we're growing. We do need more supporters. We do need board members. We do need corporate partners to get where we are. But being able to partner with a developer that is a part of the Miami-Dade RAD deal down there in Homestead that's redeveloping Homestead Gardens, a site that's across the street from where we are operating, it made sense for us. And we don't the deal doesn't affect our daily programming that we do in services. So
there you go.
Building a 5-story, 100 units of affordable housing that will benefit our residents.
Good for you.
I mean, why not? Why not go after that big thing?
Well, listen, I mean, the why not I can tell you is that very few nonprofits dare to be different, right? I mean, there's only one Star Trek, right? And
correct. You're absolutely.
Very few of us will go into that abyss and not know what's going to come out on the other end of it.
And it's not easy, Bill. I mean, it's we don't have that traditional 9 to 5. I mean, I take trips to go learn. Like some folks see that I'm traveling at one time, but I'm spending a week in North Carolina with Growth America learning economic development and finance and learning as I'm doing, because at the end of the day, sometimes nonprofits can be taken advantage of and not getting the best deal for what's happening. So we have to be sharp. So
you know, it's interesting that you put it that way, and I think that's true. You know, sometimes, you know, people don't understand the little engine that could, right? They think, oh, well, you know, they're not working for a Fortune 500 company for some major developer. They don't know what they're doing. They're sticking a toe in the water. They don't really know. And as I have gotten into this development game, because we're doing a lot of that now as you know, Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, and we've carved out our niche. But I do think that there's real opportunity, because that's how you build wealth.
Of course.
And as a nonprofit organization, it is important for you to create sustainable streams of revenue so that you can project, so that you can grow properly. And now, you mentioned something earlier that, you know, and I know that you guys are in the after-school mentoring, tutoring program, but you mentioned something about young adults and what you're doing. We got a few minutes left. Tell me more about that.
So in Overtown, specifically me growing up there, living there, I see so many young people that have either been dealt a curious hand or that have made a mistake that need a second or third chance. And a lot of programs or nonprofits, they don't receive dollars to be able, historically, to serve that population because it's difficult. Some of them, they can't meet the attendance requirement of showing up every day. But in our efforts, a couple years back, we wanted to reduce youth crime and gun violence. Through the initiative, we've been able to meet with young people who have actively been involved in gun violence, who've actively been on the streets, who've actively are either homeless or don't really have a place to stay or don't have any income. If folks are in those situations, that creates crime. It's the survival of the fittest, right? So we understand if we can be a source for them to, one, come to a safe space, a neutral space in the community, because the gang violence is real.
It is real.
A lot of folks can't go, they have to stay in a 2-block radius in Overtown, and they can't go over on the next block because of whatever beefs that are happening. But however, knowing that our locations is a no-fly zone, that's what I tell them, that, listen, this is a safe hub where you can come and get what you need. We have folks that don't have a high school diploma that have been kicked out from either fighting, that gang activity.
We got about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
What's your website? How do we reach you?
Our website is www.touchingmiamiwithlove.org.
touchingmiamiwithlove.org.
Yes.
Trina Harris, CEO
Yes.
of Touching Miami with Love. We got to get back together.
We
We got more to talk about.
Yes,
30
we
minutes
do.
does not work for me. I'm so impressed with you.
Thank you.
I can't thank you for spending time with the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust.
And thank you for all you're doing.
Listen, I'm a team player. I want you to win because when you do, we do.
Exactly. Love it.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.